Okay, what's up, TDG family? It is Monday, it's 1 o'clock, so it is time for another edition of the Monday Message. Stephen is out traveling, serving the team today. He'll be in Utah. But I am super, super, super excited about this call. I've been looking forward to it for a while. We've been plotting on it. We have our very own Rogers and Kim Straughters joining us today to talk to you guys about not only the power of referrals, but their referral process. And that is crazy important, especially for like you new guys to the business, new guys to the team, because we work so hard to get that initial sale. But then if we're not following up and getting those referrals, we're leaving five, six, seven plus sales on the table, which is crazy, right? So you're crushing your profitability and you're crushing your ability to scale in the business, right? So don't be so focused on that first sale that we forget to do the rest of our job, which is get those referrals. So very grateful to have Kim and Rogers here. They are leaders in the Discord, jumping on the dial jam, and they spend a lot of time pouring into the new people, and I just really, really appreciate them. Very happy to have them on the call. So stick around for that. Get your notes out. If you're bad at getting referrals, pay attention. If you're good at getting referrals, pay attention. You might be able to get better. You might learn something. So excited to have that. But first, let's get into the numbers from last week and see where we are. I saw some really good things this morning looking over the numbers. So we're going to start with all producers over 1,000. I know we had a lot more people that didn't quite break the 1,000 AP number for this week. That's okay. We love you. We need you. We're glad you're here. If you need some help getting over the hump, so we can read your name off, get with us, get into Discord. Let's get you where you need to be. But all producers over 1,000 for last week, submit. We had Tom, Kelsey, Marissa, Irma, Cleo, Brandon, Devon, and Nikki, Polo, Andre, Tanika, Madeline, Carlos, Kevon, Brianna, uh, two Briannas. So Brianna two times. Patrick. And then starting at 2,000, we got Sabrina, David, two Davids, Irma, Derek, Mimi, starting us off at 3,000, submit last week. Haley, Robert, Sydney starting us off at 4,000. Our special guest today, Rogers and Kim, coming in a little over 4,000 submit for last week. Mike Guerra, and then we got the boss himself, despite his travel schedule, which is insane. He still submitted 6,000 last week. And then Mercedes submitted almost 7,000 last week. All right, so top five weekly submit. We had Janet submitting $6,962.04 across 7 apps. Jermico Edwards at $7,384 across 9 apps. Nick Greco at $7,770.96 across 1 app. Matthew, we had him at $8,076.12 across 2 apps. And number one weekly submit last week was Donita Crowder coming in at $22,848 across 1 application. Great job, Donita. Great job, everybody. Awesome. Okay, so this is definitely, if not my favorite, it's high on the list of my top favorite slides here. We got the weekly paychecks. So for you newer people, this is money that got deposited into their bank account as of last week, right? So these are not monthly numbers. This is Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and I think the banks were even closed, right? Like on Friday. So this might not even be a full week. So which is even crazier. So at number five, we got Nick Greco, $4,432.79. Jermico Edwards, $4,466.10. Dave O'Brien, $5,417.06. Mimi Romero, $5,445.03. And Aaron Wilson, top weekly paycheck last week, just barely squeaking out the win over Mimi, $5,498.31. And real quick, guys, these names that I'm reading off, this is the benefit of going to the events because these people, they're always there for starters, right? So that's kind of like your first hint there. If you want to be a big producer, you need to go to the events. But these guys are all speaking on panels, a lot of them, not everyone, but even the ones that aren't speaking like on the panels and doing the training, you could have lunch with them. Right, buy them a drink, buy them a coffee, right? Sit down. They'll tell you what they're doing. The surprising part, which is not so surprising, is that they're just working really hard but they'll tell you exactly what they're doing. So find these people at the events, jump in the Discord, communicate with them, come to these calls. There's so many people that are so talented and work really hard to get where they are, and they'll just freely give you the nuggets, right? The free gems to get where they are as well. So make sure you're taking advantage of that. Okay, freedom leaderboard. So we call it that because this is how you get free. This is how you scale your business so that you can have that financial freedom that everybody's looking for, right? Building a team. So completed fast tracks. We had a bunch of ties here. We had Robert, our base shop, Brandy, works in the base shop here, Matt and Sharon, all with one completed fast track. Last week for completed contracts, we had Janet, Carolyn, Alexis, and Chrissy all with one contract. And Mercedes had two, our base shop had two, and Melissa S with three contracts. So just so you guys know, contract means that they've signed up with all the carriers. They are ready to sell. So these are agents here. They're about to hit the streets and start helping clients right now. So great job, guys. And of course, for the PLE, we have four. Enrolled in class, and it's a great thing to get people who are outside the business, guys, because one, there's no bad habits to break, so that's good. And also, you can train them up and mold them up the way you want them to be. But also, if you guys are getting people in class and want us to include you on these numbers, just send them over to us, text us, put it in the Discord so we can see that because there's no way for us to see that data anywhere else unless you guys send it to us. Okay, Steven's travel schedule. Again, I say it all the time, but it bears repeating. Let Steven do what he does best, right? So do yourself a favor if you're building in this business, if you're in this business, you should be building. Find sharp people. If you need help how to do that, get with us. We'll show you. Get them in front of Steven, right? He goes to a lot of the same places if you guys check out his schedule. So make sure you're putting people in those areas, pushing them to those meetings. You don't have to know everything. You don't have to have all the answers, right? Refer them to us and let us push them to these events that Steven's going to be at. He'll do what he does best. He'll close them. He'll send them back to you excited. We'll get them contracted and licensed up and ready to go. So make sure you're doing that. So take note, take a screenshot, on whatever device you're watching on. Make sure you know where Steven's going to be in the next couple of weeks because he is on the road serving the team. Okay. All right, well, that's all for the numbers. So now I'm going to bring up Rogers and Kim, and they're going to talk to you guys about the referral getting process. I know it's two of them, so if it's only one of you, that's okay, right? You guys can still implement their secrets and their strategies. And again, guys, missing a lot of business, a lot of profitability you are leaving on the table if you're not getting those referrals. So I'm going to clam up and let the pros take over here. So whenever you guys are ready, I'll let you do your thing and speaking to the team. Thank you for being here.
All right. Thank you so much, Omar. We're grateful to be on the call today. Big thanks to Andy and Jane Albright who who put this platform in place for all of us, our leaders, Holly, and of course, Stephen Davies. And of course, we would not have known about this business unless Jeremy Edwards introduced us to this years ago, and we appreciate his leadership.
Very much so.
Grateful.
Thank you so, so much. And great job to everybody on the leaderboards today. Fantastic. It just shows what you can do when you put the work in and the effort.
Yeah, absolutely. Something that Omar had mentioned a moment ago about just leaving something on the table. And I was talking to Kim about this as we were preparing for this message, this Monday message. Have you ever been somewhere, maybe a picnic or somewhere, and you got your little niece, your nephew, or your own child, and you have some chicken wings on the table, and you watch them just eat, but then they throw like half the wing away? Or maybe pizza where they just eat like part of the slice and just the best parts and just throw the rest away. What do we say? Say, boy, come here, eat that.
Get
You
that
eat,
meat off the bone.
yeah, get that meat off the bone. And I was thinking about that too. How can we get all the meat off the bone when we're helping our clients, whether we're working with leads or looking through our phone, our contact list, and looking at the folks in our circle of influence? How can we get the meat off of that bone? Well, we're going to talk about that today. It's about our being effective when it comes to referrals.
Yes. Referrals are so valuable. And a lot of times, agents, newer agents, but even sometimes those who've been in the business a little bit longer, they don't really value the power of getting referrals. And that's what we're going to talk about today, how to get referrals from your clients. And basically, why are referrals so important? There's so many reasons why they are. But first and foremost, you can't even begin to imagine what it can do to help explode your business. So we're just going to talk about a few ways.
Yes. So one, it's the confidence builder. When we have new agents, we want them to have what Stephen mentioned in the past, moral authority. Moral authority is important because if the client asks you, well, what do you have? Or because of our conscience, we may not even mention a product because we don't even have it in our own family. And so
Mm.
it is a confidence builder. We don't want to throw you out there with all these leads and you haven't helped yourself. You haven't helped your family. You haven't helped those that you care about. And so the referrals are a good way to get you up and going in the business and help you to learn the products. And of course, you and I know the most forgiving people are those who love you. They're
Yep.
going to forgive you if you make a mistake or if you're a little slow or a little anxious or overly cautious. They're going to be patient with you.
Another good thing that referrals can do for you is it actually builds up the speed of trust. Because when you're working with leads, these people don't know you. And so you have to take the time to build up the rapport. So another thing, as well as being a confidence booster for you, when you get a referral from someone that you already helped put a policy in place, there is already that element of trust there because they're like, oh, yeah, if you help my friend with a policy, then they trust you. And then therefore, yeah, I trust you too. So that's another good reason why referrals are so very powerful.
Yeah, speed of trust is very, very important. And also one of the things that we're looking at too, we think about our next big event. If you're new with us and you're looking at the event and you're saying, oh no, the cost of the hotel, the cost of the airline ticket, the cost of the ticket itself, I can't do that. Well, you can. By helping those that you know and care about, you can take those funds and reinvest back in yourself so that way your learning curve could be a whole lot more faster. And so
Yes.
that's another reason why we should look through our phones, look through our list, see who can help, and use that capital to help prime the pump for our business.
Yes, yes, yes. And so thereby, there's just another way to build a huge book of business. And when Rogers and I first started out with the Alliance, we didn't buy leads. We helped individuals that we knew, but from there, it just pretty much mushroomed because we were never afraid to ask, who else in your circle of friends or circle of influence can we help? And thereby we were able to build a nice book of business. And that's another way too. So you can generate some capital a little bit faster so that you can eventually invest in those events as well as invest in leads for your business.
I'm going to go ahead and mention a couple things that I would send out via text message or something that you can say. If you got a pen and paper, you're going to write this down. This may be helpful. So one of the things that I would send out via text message, I would say that, hello, their name, I represent A-rated insurance carriers, and I found out that a lot of people don't have the coverage that they thought they had or enough. Um, how about we schedule 15 to 20 minutes to put a fresh set of eyes on your coverage to make sure that it still meets your family needs. What day works for you? Make it your own, something simple. But that way you can steer interest in getting people to look at what they have outside of their place of employment. We're not asking, do you have insurance? We're asking, have you had it reviewed recently? And do you have coverage outside of work that you own? I use the word control. So something along those lines will help you as far as just looking at those that you know to make sure that they've done the right thing, just like you've done the right thing.
Exactly. So there are a lot of different ways in which you can, get started and implement this system of getting referrals. Another way that has proven to be invaluable to us in this business is something that the Alliance has already put in place, and that's called the Emergency Response System or the ERS. And what it is just a simple way, it serves two purposes. One is once you help a client with a policy, you put the emergency contact list in place so that those who are close to them, those who know and love them in the event of an emergency or a tragedy, they know who you are as their agent so that they can get in contact with you. But the list serves another reason, important thing too, that it does is that you can contact those individuals, introduce yourself, and tell them to please call me in the event of emergency. But you can also use that as an opportunity to see if those individuals on their emergency contact list also have coverage in place and then help them out too. And then it just goes on and on and on. So basically, where can we find the training at, Rogers, for the emergency response system that the Alliance is putting in place?
That's a good question. So what you want to do is go to the Alliance University. Go to naauniversity.com. Once you go into Alliance University, you'll find the resources and you'll see the resources tab, and then you'll see all of the video training that's there on the tab. Also, you'll find the resource such as the ERS. It stands for the Emergency Response System. The Emergency Response System. The ERS is very instrumental for you helping those individuals that we're highlighting today.
Yes.
So NAA University is where you're going to go.
And one thing I love about Alliance University is that you can go back and look at all of these video vaults and look at some of the agents who are basically trailblazing how they've used the emergency response system. Two names come to my mind in particular. Brian Rojas, I want to give him a huge shout out, as well as my man James Coleman. These guys have got some amazing training on how they utilize this system to get more referrals and to help more families. So when you go to Alliance University, you can look up one of the video vaults that's entitled Tactical Approaches to Client Engagement. And that was at our national boot camp just this past fall.
Orlando.
Yeah,
Yeah,
in Orlando. James Coleman did a phenomenal job on that. And that's another reason why it's always good to go to events, because it was really a power-packed talk that he gave, as well as he had a wonderful slide presentation that I took pictures of. And I took advantage of that. And I came home and typed up my own template so that I could use the system the way he does it so that we could help more families.
Yeah, you just want to copy what's out there already. I know sometimes I will have the tendency to try to put some seasoning on it, as it were, like, well, let me put my flair, my style on it. And if you do too much, you can actually deviate from actually what was set out there before us. And the flavor is not the same anymore. In fact, it becomes a completely different dish. So kind of hold back from trying to reinvent what has already been trained on, because you know that the leaders in those high numbers, in fact, one commonality, I can promise you that if you talk to those on the leaderboard regularly, you'll find out that they're implementing this system. And so we're just trying to find a way that we can get better as a team and we can grow and help each other as a team.
Most definitely. But there are some do's and don'ts.
Oh, yeah, there are out there.
Do's and don'ts. And Roger's already kind of highlighted that a little bit. One of the things you definitely want to do, as mentioned before, please watch the video and create a template from James Coleman's video that I mentioned earlier. And if you don't have the ability to perhaps type that up real quick and make it real pretty and sweet, you know what? You can steal mine. I know Chandler is going to make sure that the link to the video as well as the template that I created is provided on Discord. So make sure you check it out. That's one of the things you definitely want to do. Something else you think, babe?
Well, let's continue on the don'ts first. And so another thing that you do not want to do is get the ERS and get the warm and fuzzy and say, well, I got the ERS. Please call those individuals on the ERS. That's very important. And make sure, as James mentioned in that video, he found out that he's taken a picture of the names that were written down on the ERS so that the client that we just served, they can know what numbers they gave out, and they can give them a heads up that you and I that will be calling them. So that's one thing you want to do is not, I should say you do not want to do is get a list and don't call the individuals. That's number one. The other thing you do not want to do is get the list and call the individuals just one time and say, well, they didn't pick up. You don't want to do that. Kim, can I tell a brief story?
Oh, by all means.
Okay, so what ended up happening is I had an individual
Listen, y'all, this is real important.
His sister told me it was a client, and she put her brother on the ERS. And she told me, she said, call my brother. make sure he gets insurance. I called once, but then somewhere I didn't call after a couple of times because I was like, I ain't chasing people. And that was my mindset. I ain't chasing people. And some may be like, I ain't chasing no man around. I ain't chasing. So what ended up happening is tragically, he was hit by a car and killed a year later. And his sister called me up and she said to me these words: Did you get that life insurance for my brother like I asked you? Now, here's the key: you can't make anybody do anything. You can't. But what I failed to do, I failed to call the client back up and say, hey, your brother's not picking up. Hey, get a hold of your brother. I'm trying to call him like you asked me to. So that way it would not have been on me. Of course, she was hurt. She was hurt. But she had to basically deflect that anger onto somebody else. And guess what? It was me. It was my fault. So keep that in mind. Follow up with your client and say, I've called the names on the list. These are the individuals I was able to get a hold of. These are the individuals that are not picking up that you tell them. So that way you won't experience that. Um, it is what it is, but it just helped me to remember to communicate constantly with my clients, even after I get that ERS.
So very important. So we still live with that to this day. The importance of just keep calling, keep calling, keep calling until you get in touch with that person and they tell you no. So you know that you've done your job. So another thing you want to do when you work the emergency response system, don't be satisfied with just getting a few names. James Coleman and Brian Rojas, teach just how important it is to get at least 10 to 15 names on that list.
And this is the do part, the do's.
Please do get 10 to 15 referrals. And you know what? Work these referrals in depth, just like you would if you were recruiting somebody. We have so many experience where from a lead, we've helped a client or a family, or even from Warren Market, we helped a client or family. And just by asking for referrals, either using the ERS system or just directly asking for referrals, that we actually have in depth, at least 6 in depth, right?
At least 6.
In several leagues in our book of business with our clients.
And that way you're not leaving meat on the bone. So if you are going through a lead program and you are purchasing leads, just to give an illustration, if you're just so focused on selling, I'm not saying helping, but just your mindset is like, I'm selling, I'm trying to give quotes, I'm trying to give quotes, I'm trying to make a sale, make a sale. And out of the leads that you've purchased and you've helped one family, maybe 2, but you're so worried about the other folks that didn't pick up. You're not thinking about the family that you have served. Who else do they know? And we're worried about the leads that we did not contact and sell when we've helped 1 or 2 families. We have to ask ourselves, what are we doing with the people who already trust us? What are we doing with the folks who've already given us their social security numbers, their checking accounts, their birth dates, and all the pertinent information that a criminal could use to do financial harm? They've given us all of that information. They trust us already. What are we doing to help those that we have already served? And so that leaving of the meat on the bone, we can find ourselves doing that. And so the do's that Kim is mentioning right now is very important that we don't want to forget.
Yes. Another thing that's really important as you listen to the videos that the seasoned agents have done with the ERS system, listen carefully. Don't just listen casually to what they're saying and how they approach the situation and getting these referrals. Listen to their tonality and practice, practice, practice. And then soon you'll find yourself getting better and better at this, where getting referrals will be very easy. Just don't make it weird. It's a natural part of the process of helping your current clients and then by extension, helping those who they know.
Yeah, and we were just talking about that yesterday evening about our tonality is important. If the client says, "Oh, you need referrals," then perhaps our tonality is not quite right. Because if they're jumped to the conclusion of, "Oh, you need referrals," yes, we do, but we don't want them to be thinking that right off the bat. we're trying to help. So it's who else can we help? And our tonality, the way we say it, it shows concern. It shows interest in them and their family. And now it goes from you're just being an agent trying to make a sale, trying to get referrals, to an agent that cares about their family, an agent that wants to help them. In fact, the agent that's going to get invited to the family dinners. You're that agent. That's who
Mm,
we are.
very much so. But I don't know, Rogers, what do you think? Do you think we should perhaps demonstrate how we can use the ERS system?
I think so. That'd be great.
Okay, sounds like a good idea to me too. Awesome, awesome. So, what say you?
All right. So how about this here? Um, you want to start off with asking, okay, about the ERS?
Mhm.
Okay, so you just got through helping me and my family.
Yes,
All right, so we just finished that the application is written,
yes.
and now we're in the home, and now
Or on the phone.
order the phone. Okay.
Got my handy pen and my ERS form right here. So after helping the client with the coverage, and I'll just say, so Rogers, do you feel really good about what we just did here today for you and your family?
Yeah, I do. I feel real good about it. At least now I don't have to worry about this anymore.
Okay, so we got that off your worry plate, and that's really good. And I'm happy for you and your family. So there's one other thing that we just need to take care of that's a part of what we do in helping the families in our area. And I just want to ask you a question regarding life insurance coverage. Did you know that every year in this country alone, that there is over $1 billion every single year of life insurance money that goes unclaimed in this country?
I have no clue. I just know that when my uncle passed away, we were hoping to find some insurance, and
Oh, wow. And you couldn't find any insurance?
no, I know he got something somewhere, but yeah, I've torn through the house looking in the past. I've seen that happen before. Well, people they don't know, but you
Okay.
said billions.
Yeah. So over the years, billions of dollars, life insurance money unclaimed. So you kind of hit the nail on the head a little bit. There are a few reasons why, but that's one of them. Sometimes the beneficiary just doesn't know
Mm,
that there's coverage in place, or if they do know, they have no idea where their loved one's paperwork is,
yeah,
which means that they went through the trouble of making sure that there was coverage in place for the family, but it's not being put to use because nobody knows where the paperwork is. Or even sometimes, tragically speaking, sometimes in some situations, the insured and their beneficiary both pass away. And then
yeah,
the family just doesn't know what to do. So, that being the case, this is how we avoid that type of a scenario. What we do is we put an emergency contact list in place for you and your family so that in the event, worst case scenario, you pass away, or even in the event you may be in the hospital and you can't speak for yourself, and perhaps you need your family members to make sure that your premium payments are still being paid, they need to know who I am as your insurance agent. So this is what we're going to do. I have a form here, an emergency response system, and I want you to do this for me. Who in your circle of influence, your circle of friends, do you think should know who I am? And think about at least 10, if not 15 people.
okay, okay.
So who should we put down first on this list?
Well, I think you should put my father down first.
Okay.
My parents are still here.
All right. And what's your dad's name?
Oh, we have the same name. It's Rogers,
Rogers.
but
Okay.
he's Lee. I'm Eugene.
All right. Got it.
So now right here, if the client says to you, I don't know anybody, I don't have any people. And then James had mentioned something in the video that's
Mm-hmm.
very key.
This is what you say to them. Okay, Rogers, you said you only gave me your dad's name and your mom's name.
Yeah.
So who else in your circle of friends do you trust to have my contact information to get in contact with me in the event of an emergency or a tragedy?
I don't deal with people like that.
Okay, how about this? When's the next holiday coming up?
Memorial Day.
Memorial Day. What do you plan to do for Memorial Day?
Oh, well, I'm gonna have a little picnic.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
In the backyard?
Yeah. You invited to the picnic.
So sweet of you. Thank you,
You
Roger.
invited to the cookout.
Okay, awesome. Who else will you be inviting to the cookout?
Oh, okay. I see where you're getting at. Yeah. So at this point, we can put down those individuals. Sometimes people just need a little help, and,
Hmm.
and that's all. So asking questions like that, if you had a party, who would you have over your 10 closest people? I've even gone dark or really deep and saying like, okay, well, say you were gone, you were no longer here. Who do you think were the top 10 people that would show up to your memorial service or your funeral? And I've jokingly said to folks when they say, I don't know, I'm like, okay, that's another something we work on later. But it's who you love the most. This is about love. This is something that is done that is based on love. You don't buy gas station based on love, but I buy gas station, buy gas. You don't buy certain things off the shelf at the hardware store based on love. You may do things because of love. This here's one of them. And so we have to keep that mind in our mind, keep that mindset. You're doing something for those that you love.
Exactly. And then once you get those names, the 10 to 15 people on this ERS, you must pick up the phone and actually call them. And this is what we say when we call these individuals. You want me to do it, Rogers, or you?
Go ahead.
All right. Ring, ring, ring.
Hello, hello.
Hey, Rogers.
Uh-huh.
Hey, Rogers. This is Kim Straughter. I am Eugene's life insurance agent. Now, did
Oh,
he tell you that I would be giving you a call?
he said somebody was going to be calling about his insurance. Yeah.
All right, but that was me.
Oh,
Well, Rogers, the reason for my call is actually twofold. The first reason for the call is that Eugene put you down to be part of his emergency contact system. And it just simply means that he trusts you to have my contact information as well as the name of the insurance company that I placed him with, so that in the event a tragedy were to strike, the family or the family were to pass away, you would have a point of contact so that I can make sure that the insurance company will do their due diligence and get the insurance money paid out to the family. Now, are you okay with that responsibility?
yeah, I could do that. I'm okay with that.
Okay, great. Now, if you can do me a favor, I just need you to grab a pen and a piece of paper so that I can give you the information, and I'll hold on.
Okay.
So at this point, you provide them the information that they need, your contact information, the name of the insurance carrier that the client has been placed with.
You tell them to put this away in a safe place.
Put in a safe place in the event you have to call. Then this is what I say next. Now, Rogers, I did say that the call was twofold. The second reason for my call is that when I was sitting down with your friend Eugene, we discussed that it would be a good idea that I also sit down with you, like I did with him and his family, and go over some options on how I can help you get protection for your family with some coverage outside of what you may already have at work. Now, he said that you live in the Metro Detroit area. Is that correct?
Yes, I do. I live in East Point.
Okay. So what time do you and your spouse normally get home from work together?
We're usually both home, anytime after 5.
Okay. Actually, I'm in the area tomorrow as well as on Thursday. Which one of those days would work best for you so that I can sit down with you and your family and go over some options with you both?
Tomorrow will be fine.
Okay. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. How about 6 o'clock?
Okay, I'll let the family know. 6 o'clock.
See you then. It's easy as that, guys. It's as easy as that.
And so just keep in mind, it's the events, the big events that help us with this training. We just copy the leaders. We just follow the system. And of course, your next opportunity to get that type of training, do not forget, it's coming up in July in Burlington, North Carolina at our corporate headquarters. That is July the 18th, 19th, and 20th. And if you want to come in a day earlier on the 17th, we'll be doing some training for estate implementation.
Yes. So we cannot stress enough to the whole team, to everybody, just how valuable getting referrals and using the ERS system is for your business. Please, please, please implement this. You will not regret it. You will see your business explode. These referrals are so important because you know what? Even with the leads, we just can't reach everybody. We just can't reach everybody to make sure that they have coverage, but we can do the next best thing. Implement this referral system so that the clients that you've already helped, you can help those within their circle of friends and influence.
That's right. That's right. Well, we've done the best we could to share in a short period of time the value of using the ERS, the value of getting referrals, helping as many families as possible. We want everybody within our family here with Davies Nation to win, and not just win, but to win big. We have faith in you. We know you can do it. Just follow the system, baby.
Just do it.
It will come. It will come. But that's all we got to say about that, in the words of Forrest Gump. But we want to give attention back to Omar. He's done such a good job representing and doing the call today. We appreciate the privilege we've had.
Man, I appreciate y'all. I'm sitting here scribbling notes the whole time, the do's and the don'ts. And man, I just want to say to everybody who's watching, like, and you guys spoke to this as well. Internalize the training, guys. Like, don't treat the Monday message or any training that you watch, that you spend time with, right? Washington University as just something to play in the background while you're doing something else. Like the things that Rogers and Kim shared with you over the last half hour, like are things that have led to money being deposited in their bank account, and more importantly, families being served, right? And their families being protected. So like there's so many things that you guys could take and implement, but you have to be intentional about it. It's not enough to show up. That's a lot of the battle is showing up and being here. But the other part is being intentional, with your time and trying your best to implement it and getting feedback on that stuff regularly. That's why I love the Discord. We can get rapid prototyping, quickly. We can listen to you call through your ERS. We can give you feedback right then and there. Because if you're not doing these things, you're getting further and further away, from your goal. And one last thing I'll say, and again, I'm so appreciative of Rogers and Kim and their time. I appreciate y'all doing this. But stop trying to reinvent the wheel. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. I can't tell you how many people I talk to every week. And it's like, well, I'm doing this and then I'm doing that and I'm creating this. You don't have to do that, right? Someone's already invested the money and the time and the effort and bumped their head a billion times to get this system streamlined. Like Roger said, you can put a little seasoning on there. That's okay. Right. But be careful not to change the recipe because it's not going to be the same dish. You're not going to get the same results. And then you're going to be frustrated. Right. And you're going to be digging yourself out of a hole. We don't want that. So when Rogers and Kim take time out of their busy schedule to come in and pour into the team, I greatly, greatly appreciate that. And the best way we can say thank you is taking what they've taught us and then put that into our business, serve more people, serve our families in doing so. So Rogers, Kim, I appreciate y'all. Thank you. Love you both. And everybody else, we'll see you guys very soon. See you on the Dial Jam. See you in the Ask Omar. See you on the Discord. Talk to y'all soon.